Let's begin then, Dyson, because it's been such a busy day. Let's begin with where you are now.
Well, Tembekile, it has been a busy day indeed, starting at about 6 o'clock this morning with those raids. As you mentioned, the Asset Forfiture Unit first starting at one of the properties that former Mayor Zandile Gumede was renting, later finding out that she'd since moved out in July, and then tracking her down to her home in Inanda. So I'm now at an office park in Durban North, and this was where some of those vehicles had been brought to temporarily before they were moved to a storage facility, but we've just only found out a minute or so ago that they've now been taken away. So they will be kept in storage for the duration of that court case that you spoke about, that multi-million rand fraud court case. And they were taken, those cars that I'm talking about were taken not from Zandile Gumede but from her other co-accused, because you'll know that as much as her home was one of those that was visited by the Hawks and the AFU today, it really is, she's only one of the 16 people that were targeted, and all of those are those that are accused in that more than 200 million rand fraud and corruption case currently before court.
After initially then Dessen going to the wrong house looking for Zandile Gumede this morning, the Hawks finally catching up with her, I think it was in Inanda. How did that go down?
Well, they did get there. Well, I'd call him a spokesperson, or a spokesperson for her very close supporters. He says that Zandile Gumede wasn't hiding, she wasn't trying to run away, and in fact she was there and had instructed her lawyers to contact the Asset Forfeiture Unit and invite them there. It's just that he's putting it down to some kind of confusion over the fact that they had first gone to a property that she no longer lived at. So we didn't get an opportunity to see her. She was inside the house. Some of those that had been inside say to us that she was quite emotional when she was approached by the Asset Forfeiture Unit investigators, but wasn't resisting in any way at all. Again, some confusion there, Tembekile, because although the investigators spent well over an hour, maybe more, inside her house, shortly after that, Mzomuhle Dube, which was that spokesperson that I mentioned, he was saying to us that nothing was taken, and he insisted that Zandile Gumede lives a very simple life. She doesn't have any flashy items, and there was really nothing for them to take. In fact, he jokingly said to us that we'd wasted our time by coming out there, but the Hawks seem to be saying something entirely different. I'd like you to listen to my conversation with Brigadier Hangwani Mulaudzi a short while after that.
We were there precisely because there is a court order. So the court order has been served. So whether we're talking about touching in terms of assets or physically, I don't know, but the house now belongs to the state as per the court, and there are things that have been put as part of the assets that have been put in, what's the word, as part of the bigger picture, if I can put it that way. So things are fine. I don't know where that comes from. So we can confidently say that we have done our work, and the sheriff was there. I think everybody saw it. She served them. She served the former mayor with the papers, and the curator has done her work as well in terms of other assets that were inside the house.
Now, Dessen, the move to the wrong property, if you can call it that at this point, in the early morning by the Hawks has put the unit, or brought them in for some level of criticism from people who said they should have known that the mayor was no longer living there. How they explained that beyond her changing addresses, should they not have known that Zandile Gumede would not be there?
Well, in the very brief conversation we had about that with the Hawks, they say that the blame lies squarely at her doorstep, really, because she should have been the one to have informed them that she moved. But then, as you said, there is some of that sentiment that we've been seeing, saying that if these are investigators that are investigating a multi-million rand fraud case, they should have known already. I tried to get answers out of the Hawks about whether there will be any action that would be taken against against her, and I didn't get a clear answer on that. I imagine that's something that will still form part of this investigation during the course of the day. This operation hasn't wrapped up yet. They are still finalizing some of the paperwork and just collating some of the information they've collected, as well as putting together some of these inventories. So the answer to that then, Thembekile, will come from whether she does face any repercussions, and that should tell us who really was at fault for not knowing where she was.
Jason Tatia for now, thank you. That's our reporter there live in Durban.